Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Clustaar and welcome to this overall presentation of the Clustaar Chatbot Platform. When you create a chatbot, you arrive here on your dashboard. So it's going to show you some figures about your chatbot, number of intents, number of entities, number of users, and number of messages. Here you have a test zone that you can use to test a chatbot. I'm showing you here the back office of our own Clustaar support chatbot. Here you can, in your test zone, you can analyze, see what intent has been matched and what is the step of the story that was triggered. So here you have your dashboard. Here you have your stories. That means the different scenarios of the chatbot. So for example, here you have a scenario about intents. So you can see that it's a story that is linked by triggered by an intent. So the trigger of the story is the intent. What is the intent? So when you create an intent, you write a few phrasings to make sure that the chatbot is going to be able to understand it, whichever way it's phrased. And it can also be triggered by steps, so steps from other stories that can link to this story. Basically, the stories are composed of steps that are linked together through logical connectors. So, for example, here they're linked together with buttons. So, for example, do you want to create an intent? Yes or no. If the person clicks on yes, then it will go to the step create an intent. We made this platform to make sure that everyone would be able to create chatbot. That's why we created an interface that was very easy to use. You see that you can just drag and drop some actions into the answer. So for example, text, images, typing. You can also pause the chatbot. You can also send an email, for example, an email to your customer support with information about the user, information about the conversation, etc. You can also use quick replies and cards. So the quick replies is what we saw earlier with buttons, and cards are just a format to display some content. So you can send an image or maybe add a button, etc. It's the type of content that you saw in the example that I showed you just a minute ago. Here you can see here what it looks like. Here you have your setup AI. So setup AI is your intents and your entities. The intents, as I said, are the user questions. So for example, the question, what is your pricing? In your intents, so as I said, you write a few phrasings and you have a few parameters that you can set up. For example, the matching method. Usually we use the NLP engine, but you can also use the contains with a very strong keyword, or an exact match if you're very sure of yourself and of your users. You can also choose the priority if you want the intent to have priority over another at some point. Here are your entities. The entities are the little colored word that you find in the intents. They are used for two things. They are used first to handle synonyms. So for example, here you see all the different synonyms of price. But they can also be used to retain information in the conversation. So for example, if you have an entity city and you ask the person, where do you live? And you have several values to this entity, the value that is given to the entity by the user. So for example, if the user says, I live in Paris, this information can be remembered in the conversation. It can be used in the conversation by the chatbot, and it can also be sent to a customer service via email, for example. This is very useful also, for example, for a contact scenario. So if I say, I want to contact you, say we'll do everything to get in touch with you. So give me your email address. I'm going to write my email address. And here I'm going to write my message. And what's important to show is that in this scenario, the user did not see a thing. But if I show you the scenario, the contact scenario, you can see here that it was sent to one of us, and we can remember the email of the person and the message of the person. So that way we have a way to recontact them if they had a very big problem that the chatbot was not able to solve. So this is for intents and entities, and here you have channels. So we offer a variety of channels. You have, for example, the Clustaar web chat. They can be put in about 2 minutes on your website. You can use Twilio for SMS, Intercom for live chat, Facebook, of course, and Google Assistant if you want vocal. But you can also use the platform as an open API, which means that you can plug your chatbot on any kind of front you want, any kind of chat. For example, you could put it in an app or in an intranet. You can also connect the chatbots through webhook to any kind of service. So for example, if you want the chatbot to be integrated with ServiceNow or with any other software, if you want the chatbot to be able to retrieve information from a database, you can create webhooks here. You can, of course, invite collaborators and have everyone work together on the chatbot. As you can see, we are a large number of people working on this one, and you have a few settings. Here, if you use the Clustaar platform, you will see that there is an intercom button, and you can try to contact us at any time if you have any question. So thank you for watching this video, and don't hesitate to contact us if you have a question. Thank you very much.